Bonjour à tous. Donc, I think we can start. Donc, merci pour votre venue. Donc, aujourd'hui, l'atelier va porter sur une présentation des résultats d'un projet européen et un témoignage sur le fait comment on va mettre en place, comment on peut renforcer la formation en informatique pour la santé. Et cette présentation va être pilotée par professeur Adel Tawil, qui est professeur en informatique pour la santé dans l'université de King's College à Londres et également à Birzeit. Et il est aussi professeur associé à Birzeit. Aussi, on aura une intervention de professeur Soukaina Zouyoud, qui est une professeure de soins infirmiers de l'université Hashimite de Jordanie. Elle est aussi une scientifique et la doyenne du département des soins infirmiers de cette université. Dr Houssine Jabarin, qui est aussi professeur des universités en soins infirmiers à l'université d'Hébron en Palestine, et également scientifique et le doyen aussi de cette faculté. Et côté européen, on aura professeur Mario Macedo, qui est un professeur en informatique avec des applications dans le domaine de la santé de l'Université Atlantica de Portugal. Il est porteur de plusieurs projets européens. Rémi Bastide, qui est professeur à cette école, professeur des universités à cette école d'ingénieurs, et qui est également le directeur de la recherche de notre école et chercheur à l'ERIT. Donc, ils vont nous présenter les approches qu'ils ont pu mettre en place pour renforcer les enseignements en informatique pour la santé, que ce soit pour des professionnels de santé, et comment ils ont pu les implémenter dans leurs différentes universités. Donc, cette conférence, elle sera essentiellement en anglais, hein. Malheureusement, il n'y aura pas la traduction, mais vous pouvez, si vous voulez, poser des questions en français et j'essaierai de les traduire pour eux. Donc, le nom de cette conférence, c'est Health Informatic Education, a Critical Need for the Digital Transformation in Healthcare. En français, ça donne l'éducation en informatique pour la santé, un besoin critique pour la transformation numérique en santé. Et comme vous le saviez, la transformation numérique, on la vit actuellement pleinement en France et on a besoin de former, que ce soit les professionnels de la santé, que ce soit nos ingénieurs, que ce soit nos patients, pour avoir des applications plus performantes et qui peuvent supporter nos soins. Donc, je vais démarrer cette présentation en donnant la parole au professeur Adel Tawil. Donc, Dr. Adel, I start to give you a question in French, and after I translate in English, and if you can... Professeur Adel, d'après le titre de la table ronde, pourquoi pensez-vous que l'éducation en informatique dans le domaine de la santé est un besoin critique et pour cette transformation numérique en santé? Donc, si vous pouvez nous expliquer. Donc, from this, the title of this round table, why do you think health informatics education is a critical need for the digital health transformation? Please explain.
Thank you, Elias. A very important question. As probably you have seen across all the conference, a number of presentations highlighted the need to move towards e-health, and as I was saying, perhaps in the last roundtables, I don't see anymore that it's a question whether or not e-health is coming or not. It's just when. And I think only barriers is preventing us from moving towards that. And I think we feel one of the key barriers to moving toward digital transformation is educating both the healthy professionals who are practicing health, but also the students from the foundation up when they graduate. And that's why we feel if we keep using old teaching methods, practicing health or medicine in general, without considering the digital transformation, digital tools, e-health tools, that will always be the case, that always will be lacking behind towards the actual transformation. And that's why we need to start as early as possible, really to educate and change the way and methods of education for the health students, but also surprisingly, we have to also consider carefully also the IT students, the information technology students. And that might be a surprise why both we need. Both we need them because we need to create new solutions. The healthcare is facing continuously increasing challenges, new diseases, new mechanisms, new improvements. And unless we start working together on understanding the challenges which come from the healthcare professionals, to transfer those to the health professionals themselves, trying to see how we can address them through technical solutions. And that's why we need IT students as well to understand those challenges, to be able to engineer new solutions. And that's why we need to marry those together. It's no longer acceptable, or we probably no longer able to address the new challenges without marrying those together. And this is perhaps why Hicure has come into the picture. Would you like to present, John? Yeah? Yeah. Shall we present something about Hicure and how it has to address them?
Yeah, okay. Please, if you can do this for us. Thank you. You can keep the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction on Hicure and what's the methodology behind it and how we came to understand. And I think it's driven from my own answer, why we feel strongly that to achieve digital transformation in healthcare, we need to start somewhere. Okay, and a lot of advocating reasons why saying, well, maybe you can achieve this transformation by actually training healthy professionals on the job. There are so many healthy professionals already in hospitals, and they are practicing, and maybe we need to start actually educating them and maybe training them first, and then maybe we can think of going into looking at curricula. But we felt very strongly is that's also necessary. We need to train. I think we need to start training health professionals in practice. But maybe one other fundamental approach to change is maybe we go back to foundational education and address training at the time of actually taking your university training. And maybe then we, in a few years' time, we start generating new graduates already digitally trained, and how they can use digital technologies and tools and health values into actual practice. What that means simply means we are advocating not just to train, no, but also changing the complete mechanism of actually practicing medicine. We want to move away from using tools to help me. We want to make tools part of what you do. Make digital part of what actually you do. Let actually digital transformation be part of your normal practice. And this is the way we do. It's more like using your smartphones. Maybe when we started using them, maybe a lot of us were reluctant of the value. But perhaps after maybe 5, 6 years ago now, if I take those from you, probably most of you will not even know how to work, because they come part of your normal life. You need to keep checking your Facebook, or perhaps even a Twitter account, or maybe even your email. Now, before 10 years ago, that maybe was slightly difficult with the old versions of the mobiles. But nowadays, it has become part of what we do every day. It's part of our life. And I think that's what we need to move towards, is making digital tools, making digital transformation in healthcare part of normal clinical practice, healthy practice. I think that's what we're advocating for. And that's why thanks for the European Union who funded this project, 3 years project for nearly 1 million euros, which is wanted us to really address this issue and maybe apply this, and we try to apply this particularly in Jordan and Palestine, because those countries are also perhaps a fresher ground, let me say, to apply new things, because they don't have the stigma, the old stigma of, oh, this is the way it should be done. And perhaps we thought maybe let's try it in those countries. and then maybe that we can scale to other countries across Europe. And this is the idea. And that's why we have a number of partners from Europe helping us with this particular job, from about five European countries. We're actually working together to trying to see how we could create something. The question is from perhaps the title of the talk, which is digital transformation and healthcare education, health informatics education. And it is a critical need. It's no longer a luxury need, which is unfortunately still being seen by many of across Europe as a luxury or just an additional need. It's as additional probably training, but actually it has to be now a critical part of what you do, and there where we come from. And that's why this project have started with a number of colleagues across these different universities, with different leaders coming across different ways, trying to come with different views, where we have some of the oldest universities who already have long established educational systems and curricula, others who are fresh and maybe easier to change and amenable to change, and maybe they are able to adopt to make that change happen. And maybe we need early adopters. The question is always having the early adopters. Perhaps sometime when you have early adopters, when they succeed, perhaps also follows. This is unfortunately maybe what we always see in a lot of the health technology, perhaps even generally more technology oriented. Early adopters always hard to find, but when they do succeed, a lot of others follow, and that's why we wanted to follow this. So the main objectives of this project was really to try to take that into account. We need to jump on this. So what we did in this project is we sort of created a structure where we can really learn a lot from the existing curricula. A lot of what we found across all these work packages when we have found is in Europe, a lot of the health informatics is more in a supplement training, not a fundamental training. Supplement means mostly at a master degree. A lot of people just optionally take that or may not take that, and that's a completely different view. But that's what we have noticed. In America and Europe, this is what it is being done. And we thought, if we keep doing that, we can keep doing that. The question, will ever it going to cause a change? Or maybe an impact. And that's why we started creating what we call as a new method. And the new method was, shall we create a whole degree of health informatics at the undergraduate level, but then that will not really make also a change, because the change will be only people who have took those degrees. And if you make it a master level degree, also it will be more a supplement. So what we started thinking is, maybe we need to create what we call as integrated curriculum. The difference between supplement is you take your fundamental training and then you probably add something to it, and so you have additional, but that always supplement is supplement. But maybe the other things which we need to do is integration. Let these things fill together. It's no longer the option of making a traditional health or medicine course, just we teach it the old way. Maybe we need to look at it again and see how we can change the methods in those clinical training and improve those courses with the needed and aided digital transformations so that it becomes part of it. When I'm doing my clinical diagnosis, I'm using my traditional mechanisms. But maybe remember, our decision support system has become so clever. If you build those parts of what you do in your diagnosis process, then maybe actually computers help you to do a better diagnosis, more accurate diagnosis. And that's what you want, maybe even faster diagnosis. Maybe it saves you a lot of money actually in reaching a more precise diagnosis of your disease. So in that sense means actually no longer, I'm changing the way I do my diagnosis. And then that means actually I'm really improving a lot towards the quality of towards a quality healthcare, which is a completely different mechanism. And that's why we have about 8 work packages in this to achieve these tasks. And so our opinion was, no, it's not just sufficient to train the health students. We need healthy students and IT students to work together. We need them to be in the same place. We can keep saying about solutions, but we never implement them as health. And IT students will keep coming up with solutions, but they don't meet the needs of the health. as probably you have seen. We have learned a lot in the last 30 years. A lot of the IT companies have created lots of solutions, and then when they actually come to be deployed in real practice, we find actually they find them, oh, they lack a lot of actual applicability in the field. And that's why what happens later on, we say they are not suitable. And then the same thing, actually, health keep talking about solutions, but then they never transfer those into actual implementable solutions. So actually the idea here is, no, we want actually health students and IT students to start working from the beginning. Some of these, they need to learn together on some of those courses so they understand each other. And then the health students can transfer this challenge in his head to the IT students, where then the IT students can understand that challenge and find a solution. And perhaps one testimony in this room is we have a large group of students here, more than 22 students, who actually half of them health, half of them IT. To prove the idea, actually, they can create solutions. And you are so welcome. We have a workshop tomorrow of a presentation of how health and IT students have worked together and created new solutions. So you are so welcome to come tomorrow to our presentation to see some of those solutions too, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to stop at this stage, and I'll leave the floor to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Adel. Now I want to ask Professor Sukaina. You are professor in nursing, in the nursing faculty. So, l'étude que vous avez rapportée montre un écart de nombreuses compétences en informatique de santé. I will translate after. Sorry, I will translate. Just. For our French colleague, and after I will translate in English. Donc, je reviens à ma question, bien évidemment. Donc, l'étude que vous avez rapportée dans ce projet montre un écart pour de nombreuses compétences en informatique de santé. Qu'en pensez-vous? Et y a-t-il des compétences plus importantes que d'autres? Et si c'est le cas, lesquelles que vous jugez être les plus importantes pour les professionnels de la santé, vu votre formation en nursing? So,
I would say we, but that's about it.
Donc, the study you reported show a gap for many skills in health informatics. What do you think? Are they skills more important than others? And which one of them are more important for the health professional, if so?
Well, as a part of the study, as a part of the project, we conducted a need assessment study for both the students for health and IT, and we also conducted a study for health professionals. What we found out is for the health professionals who are already in the who works, and I can show a presentation.
Yeah, if you have, why not? It's as a professor, we prefer sometimes to have a support. So you can just the next one, I think. This one? Yes. Okay. So please. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. So we conducted the study for students and also for health professionals in the hospitals. The study was conducted in both Jordan and Palestine. Since, as Professor Adel said, it's a new area for the region in general, and in Jordan and Palestine, health informatics or health information systems are newly integrated and newly are introduced into hospitals in Jordan. And the case in Palestine is still some health institutions have them, but the majority do not have them. So we wanted to know what are the skills, what the students need to know, what we need to educate the student about health informatics for both health and the IT student. So one of the reasons why health informatics is not fully integrated or introduced for hospitals in Jordan, at least, and in Palestine, was I would say lack of awareness of the importance of it, and the lack of funding for health institutions to integrate these systems. So the study, I would go to the study because time constraint. And again, as Professor Adel said, we need training from the beginning for the students and training for health professionals in hospitals. I would talk about first the student study. We conducted the study in 4 universities: Hashomet University, Hebron, Just or Jordan University of Science and Technology, and Birzeit University, where we introduced the survey for the health student and IT student. The survey was conducted online using an electronic survey. We're open for the students to answer the questions, and so we would be able to know what exactly their needs for their competencies that we need to educate them for, and what are the needed skills. So we assessed their attitudes and beliefs toward health informatics, what are their intentions to learn health informatics, the needed skills, and also the motivation factors or motivative factors that would motivate them to learn health informatics. So in general, the background about the participant for the study, we had 619 participants from Jordan and 272 students who responded to the questionnaire from Palestine. The distribution was for nursing students. We try to include all the health sciences, so we encourage the students in nursing. We had responses from the applied medical sciences, from the medicine, and from pharmacy. And we also had responses from IT students were in both countries. So for the results, maybe I should get my eyeglasses because. So when we looked at the perceived usefulness, as you see, 82% of the student said it would help and improve the access for patient information point, and it will improve the patient care. Also, it would improve their performance. So the students said if they learn health informatics, then their performance while they're doing the job after graduating, let's say, it would improve their performance. And it would also decrease the errors, the medical errors that comes with the job. And it also would facilitate the medical organization administration process. So we asked about the ease of learning, how they perceive, is it easy to learn? So as you see, 77% they said it's important, and the university should provide training and education about health informatics for them. And 71% they think it's easy for them to become skillful in health informatics. And 70% they would say it would give them a high chance of applying their health informatics skills and learned competencies after they graduate in their practice. And their intentions, 73% they think or they say they intend to take the health information courses if they are offered. And 75% they are very enthusiastic if there are courses offered to be enrolled in these courses. So in summary, for the student part of the study, 82% were very interested to learn health informatics. 75% they indicated they not taking any type of courses or training in health informatics. And 70% of the students, they said it's important and essential for them to learn in order to be able later on to improve their performance, to improve their healthcare practice, to improve patient safety, and it's very important. The other part of the study, we conducted again another survey among health professionals who already works in hospitals. And again, the study was conducted in both countries, in Palestine and Jordan. The total respondent, we had 579 health professionals who responded to the questionnaire in 14 hospitals. And 34% came from Jordan and 66% were from Palestine. This is the distribution for where they are employed. We have 75% were employed in governmental or state-supported hospitals. and 14% in non-governmental hospitals, and 11% who works in the private sector. We asked the health professionals if they have any competencies in computer skills, or if they are competent in using their computer. Maybe you would wonder why we ask this question, because some of the staff or health professionals who work in hospitals, they might be, I would not say old, but from their education did not include any type of computer training. So the total was 68% from Jordan. They said yes, we had computer training, and 84% from Palestine were also trained. They have used computer, or they use the computer in their work, because some hospitals were still using the paper-based work. So again, this is the received training on computer skills. In Jordan, the percentage was 65%, 56%, I'm sorry, and 59% for Palestine. Then we asked their perception of the importance of health informatics at their institution, at the institution where they work, and the total for Jordan was 84% answered yes, it's very important, and they perceive it as it's something integral to their work. And 84% in Palestine as well answered that yes, it's very important to their work and should be included in their training. And we asked, is it adequate, or the adequacy of health information in the institution? Is it integrated enough? Do they find it adequate, the already system that they have? So in Jordan, 52% answered, and 60% in Palestine, they find it that it's adequate in their institution. Then we try to find if the institution is supportive of integrating health informatics or information systems. Is there a supportive environment? 73% said yes, and 66% said it's they need the necessary infrastructure to integrate the health information systems. So the need for specialized training, as you see, is 60% in Jordan said yes, we need the training, and 58% in Palestine said we need the training for health informatics. This is in a quick second. The needed health information skills, monitoring patient. Why do they need the health informatics or health information systems? So for monitoring patient, I would not go through the percentages, but for monitoring patient diagnosis, for controlling the errors, for maintaining the patient records. So thank you.
Thank you, Professor Soukaina. Now I want to switch and give the micro for one of European partners of this project. And I want to start with Professeur Rémi Bastide. Donc, professeur, vous êtes parmi les personnes qui ont participé à la création de cette école d'ingénieurs ISIS, une des premières en France qui est spécialisée en informatique pour la santé. Et je voudrais vous demander, par rapport à la méthodologie que vous avez mis en place dans ce projet Hicure, il y a plusieurs partenaires. Ces partenaires ont leur propre structure de programme qui est déjà existante, pas comme ISIS qu'on a créé de rien. Et je voudrais savoir est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire si ce n'était pas difficile pour intégrer ces cours dans un cursus qui est déjà existant. Quelle était votre méthodologie? Je vais la dire rapidement en anglais. So, if your methodology of integrated health informatic curricula, each university has different curriculum structure, would you not you think that the difficult to integrate easily with their curriculum? So, if you can explain us your methodology.
Thank you, Dr. Lamine, for this completely unplanned question. So actually, yes, it was a very difficult process that we had to define, but to answer your question precisely, I think I can do no better than using the slides of our colleague Bernhard Brail from Germany, who did an excellent job in doing that. Maybe Okay, yeah, excellent. So we had a set of bold objectives in defining this program. So we wanted first to study the existing curricula in health and computing in various degrees, from undergraduate to graduate. We also wanted to study the professional and skill gaps and the needs in health informatique in so-called partner countries in Jordan and Palestine. And our ultimate goal was to create a rich and integrated health informatique curricula in varying degrees, and also to define an approach that would allow other universities to use our work to integrate this in forthcoming health informatique programs. So how did we work on this? So we reviewed a set of health informatique curricula in European university partners. We revised the program structures in information technology and health-oriented courses in partner country, and we wanted to define flexible structures and ways of creating and integrating curricula part of the existing program. So we followed the following method. So we did an extensive review of literature using both research and practice-based studies. We also reviewed the international recommendations from health informatique bodies, for instance, the International Medical Information on Health Informatique. We also wanted to follow the Bologna process, which is the base of most teaching process in Europe. And so we did an extensive work in reviewing the curriculum in partner countries, which are Germany, Portugal, France, and Turkey. And as Dr. Sukaina said, we did an assessment study in academic and health organization with focus on health professionals to identify the key health informatics skills and priorities in Jordan and Palestine. So the results that we did, which are the main assets of our Hicure program. So we wanted to define a curriculum that is based on competencies, and so we did an extensive work in identifying key competencies, and for each competencies to identify skills and sub-skills that need to be achieved to get this competency. And so we define a mapping of key competencies to skills and sub-skills. And also we structure the curriculum in topics instead of concrete courses to allow some flexibility for implementing universities to actually define the precise courses that will be associated with each topic. So we used actually, when we defined this process, we were in this very school, in the same process of defining this, so it was a very two-way interaction that was very enriching for all the partners of the project. So our proposed curricula is topic-based instead of course-based, and also we wanted to have a declination of this curriculum in various levels of knowledge. So it can be, well, I will give more detailed information about this in the next slide. So we wanted also to define the study pathway among the various topics that made sense and allows the students to have a smooth progression in the curriculum. So the goal was to allow each university to define precise curricula according to this, or to adapt existing curricula, or to integrate some of the topics we mentioned into existing curricula. So we structure this into 3 different sets of competencies. First, a common background knowledge that must be fulfilled before going into more advanced courses, and then courses or topics that are more geared towards information technology students, such as modeling health processes, enterprises, engineering health system, etc. And other topics that are more geared towards our students, for instance, nurses or doctors. So the precise structure of what we did was to start from the competencies. So maybe you are not supposed to read the details of this, but this will be part of the outcomes of the project. Then from the competencies to define the key skills associated with each competencies. For instance, improving healthcare clinical process requires the key skills of understanding clinical healthcare processes and business and enterprise modeling, for instance, and then go to a finer detail on sub-key skills. As you can see, this is getting quite complex, but it's also very usable and transferable. And then also to classify all these skills towards specifically geared toward health or to IT or to integrated curriculum with health and IT. And also part of our work was to define various levels of knowledge for all these competencies, starting from level -1, which is the basic knowledge that must be acquired by students before undertaking one of the courses, and then more and more advanced levels of knowledge from level 0, foundational health informatic topics, level 1, drawing IT and all students into a specific pathway, and the most advanced level, which is level 2. And each of the partner universities could implement this work and decline this work into specific health information, and I think we'll have a report on the specific implementation that have been done in in 4 universities in Jordan and Palestine. So I hope this has answered part of your questions.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Remy, for this explication and for this methodology. Yeah, we notice it is very relevant to integrate this curriculum for many universities. And nous avons remarqué que l'un des résultats et les approches poussées par ce projet étaient basées sur des enseignements à base de cas, et qu'on trouve une méthode qu'on la trouve très intéressante. C'est quelque chose qu'on pousse ici en France, c'est l'apprentissage par cas. Et ce qu'on souhaite savoir, professeur Hussein, donc, que vous avez managé cette work package portant sur les cas d'études à enseigner. Est-ce que ces scénarios que vous avez définis sont vraiment reflètent des scénarios réels ou juste des scénarios écoles, des cas écoles? Et si vous pouvez nous expliquer comment cela va améliorer la compréhension des étudiants en informatique pour la santé. So, Professor Hussein, you are manage the case study work package that you suggest for teaching health informatics. It is an interesting idea. Would this case study reflect a real-life scenario? And can you explain how this scenario will improving student understanding of health informatics? So if you can, in some word, explain.
Thank you, Elias. So the focus and interest of Hicure project is not only about defining the content of the courses and the skills and the competences, but also how we can deliver these concepts to the students. So we also focus on the methodology of teaching these courses. So, and one method of teaching these courses, we introduced case studies. It is widely used here in the West, while in the Middle East, I don't think it's newly introduced to our universities. And case studies methodology of teaching and learning is very useful, and it is there are some evidence based about the usefulness of the case study approach in teaching students. And it's well known that case study as a methodology needs more independent work from the students. We are the teachers, we develop the scenario, and we give instructions for the students, and then it needs more work from the students themselves. They can, when we give them the scenario, they can do searching, they can brainstorming, and they can work together. And the idea and the aim is to come with creative ideas to solve these scenarios. And this is one part of the Hicure projects, and I think my presentation, as my colleagues will explain more and will clear it, make it clear more. Okay. Yeah. So I will. My presentation is not only about case study, and it is about. It's about the quality assurance framework that we adopted in our project. So the quality assurance process framework was developed specific to ensure quality of Hicure deliverables, implementation, and the evaluation of courses and case studies, which is the topic of my presentation today. But before that, just to show you what is the quality assurance process that we followed. Our quality assurance process consists of 3 main steps. The first step is the team internal review, where every deliverable within Hicure produced by one team was reviewed internally by another team within the same university. And if we agree and reach a consensus on that within one university, we go then to the next level of assurance, which is a project review. Every deliverable was reviewed by a team in another university from the partner countries in the Middle East. And after, we also solve if there is any problem, or we improve the work, and then we go to the advanced third level, which is the EU review, where every deliverable was reviewed by at least 2 EU partners. This is for all deliverables of Hicure. This is a very long, complicated, hard-working work within the project. So quality assurance for courses and case studies evaluation, that I will give some examples of the approach that we adopted to evaluate our work. So we adopted Kirkpatrick model, which consists of 4 levels. Level 1 about reaction, level 2 learning, level 3 behavior, level 4 results. And we used mainly the first 3 levels and left the 4th level for the application of the courses and case studies that we implemented in our universities. So just to show you the evaluation design that we used quasi-experimental. There are courses, we call them intervention courses. The intervention courses, these are the newly established courses by Hicure project itself, because for instance, at Hebrew University, my university, we haven't Hicure health informatics courses before this project. And then we updated our curriculum, and we introduced these courses in the way that explained by my colleagues. So we call them these intervention courses for a new Hicure developed courses. The intervention and control courses, these are at the universities that they already have health informatics courses or something similar to health informatics, but they are the one intervention courses, the updated courses, and the control courses, the previous course at the university, at that university. So we call them intervention and control, which is the control, I mean by it, the traditional course, not the Hicure course. The evaluation instruments for control and intervention courses, for both courses, we used a questionnaire. We collected data from both groups and asked students to evaluate the courses, and then we do some sort of comparison between the intervention, the new courses, the Hicure courses, and the previous courses. The questionnaire contained general course elements, questions about the course in general, and some questions about the health informatics specific for that course. And this is an example of the questionnaire that we used, and we asked our students to fill it out. And the main area of the questionnaire, the topic content, theory, content knowledge, competences and skills development, teaching methods, and some questions about the course overall. And I can show some examples of the, this is an example of the evaluation of the results of the evaluation of an intervention course. So, so if you can see in a scale from 1 to 5, most of students, they rated the intervention, this course highly. 4, as can you, in the course overall rated as 4 out of 5. Teaching methods, competences and the skills development, theory content, topic content, so 4 or better. So the evaluation of the students was good for our courses. And this is a second example where we compared between intervention and control courses. And as you can see, students rated the intervention, the Hicure courses, better than the traditional previous course. So in all domains, the course overall domain, 3.6. This is an example from Birzeit University, where respondents become students, 76 students responded of them, 75 of them were responded. And for the control course, 31 students, the 29 students responded for that questionnaire. But as you see, the rate, the mean was higher for the Hicure courses. The second part of the evaluation was for the case studies. We were very interested to see the impact of our case studies, the developed case studies, and on the students. So the approach was to develop themed case studies, and we think with 4 main themes, which about diabetes mellitus, colorectal cancer, healthcare service delivery, specifically for electronic incidence reporting, and the 4th theme was drug dispenses management or traceability. So we asked each author or each teacher to develop 4 mini case studies within each course. So, and as you can see here, we have 15 topics or 15 courses. For each course, there are 4 mini case studies, and so we ended up with about 60 case studies. And we hope we will use these, the results of these case studies, and we will publish them in the future. So we provided authors with a template, and in order to make the work on all the 4 universities similar, the first element of the template was the introduction about the case study, learning objectives of the case study, overview and analysis, status reports, and case problem, type of teaching method that he's going to use, form of the case study, teaching notes and appendices. And furthermore, we provided each author with a detailed guidelines and instructions on how to build his case study, because case study as a method of teaching, for some of us, we use it for the first time. So for the teachers themselves. So we provided them, and this guidelines, it's very unique to Hicure project. And this is a form we asked our European partners to evaluate after any teacher build his case study. We send it to our EU partners, and we asked them to evaluate the case study, and these are the elements for the evaluation of the case study. We asked them about the element of the case study, and the case study teaching method, form of the case study, teaching notes, case study workload aspects, employability. There are some general questions at the end of the questionnaire, and then if they have any comments about the case study itself before we use it or deliver it to our students. And I think I am finished in time. So thank you, and welcome for any question, please.
Thank you, Professor Hussein. Professeur Mario, vous qui êtes professeur en Portugal et qui enseignait l'informatique médicale en Portugal, ce projet Hicure, il a mis en place une méthodologie pour intégrer des enseignements dans des cursus déjà existantes, que ce soit pour des professionnels de santé, que ce soit pour des informaticiens. Il a créé des cas d'études très intéressants qu'on pourrait éventuellement réutiliser. Vous, pour Portugal, je voudrais savoir si les résultats et ces méthodologies de ce projet pourraient être applicables en Portugal et ou bien d'une façon plus large dans d'autres pays européens. So, Professor Mario, I would to ask you, based on this previous presentation and the outcome of Hicure project, would you see that Hicure methodology and outcome are applicable in Portugal and for other European countries? Please, if you can.
Thank you very much for a question, Professor Elias. I think that this methodology is very innovative and very interesting. Why? Because we analyzed the market demands and all courses, all syllabus were developed according with the market demands and according with the roles that the market is looking for. And I'm sure that the existing jobs and the forthcoming jobs will benefit from this approach very much. So every course is like a learning objective. So it is very easy to integrate these courses in the existing curriculums and to reuse them. So I think it is a very important approach to all programs across Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. Donc, je voudrais conclure cette table ronde en vous posant à chaque intervenant une question. Et si vous pouvez nous répondre en quelques mots. So I want to conclude this round table by discussion. So I will ask one question for each intervenant, and if you can answer by few words about it. So I want to start by Professor Adel. So la méthode de Hicure suggère d'enseigner l'informatique de santé depuis le début aux étudiants en médecine ou en soins infirmières, voire des étudiants en informatique, et ceci dès le début dans leur cadre de formation universitaire fondamentale. Ne pensez-vous pas que cela pourrait aussi être le cas si vous enseignez après l'obtention du diplôme? So Hicure method suggests to teach health informatics for the beginning to the health and IT student as part of their fundamentation university education. Would you not, you think also it may do if you teach after graduation, may as well do? If you can give us.
Okay. Thank you, Elias, for the interesting question. It's just, it's a debatable question, which is when really we need to start introducing training. Wouldn't it be just, as I explained earlier, just to do a postgraduate training and that should be sufficient? It's always a debatable question because I think a lot of us sometimes take technologies or training into technologies as if it is just learning how to use a smartphone. Because probably none of us now use a smartphone has received training. Have you received, anyone has received special training for using a smartphone? And sometimes we feel maybe just a health digital technology is probably similar. We just need no training, and maybe if we need some training, we just do it after graduate, perhaps from our own foundational degrees. And I think that's the fundamental difference here. I think training people into health informatics in general, or e-health, or digital health, is just not about teaching them technology. It's not just technology. It's not about using a tool. It's not just about using a phone. The principle is we need to start changing the fundamental concept of how we conduct medicine. In the same way, perhaps if you look 200 years ago, where we used to also conduct medicine completely different. When we moved to evidence-based medicine, we completely started changing our methods of conducting medicine. And it's the same way, I think, we need to start looking, it's not just using tools. No, actually, these digital health technologies actually changes the way we conduct and do health. And this is the complete difference. And I think this is the main thing we have to overcome. And perhaps in my keynote on Tuesday, I illustrated that actually digital health technologies have invaded now, or perhaps have influenced a lot of areas in the health domain. It's not just about using patient data or just transferring the patient data. No, actually now we have tools which improve and make it more accurate to diagnose difficult diseases. MRI images analysis. Decision support, we have now artificial intelligence techniques into improving and predicting disease before it happens. So we need to reduce the risk of disease before it happens. Now, if I am a doctor, which is I am doing my normal practice using normal techniques, I will not be able to predict that you will have diabetes in 5 years' time. I will not be able to predict maybe based on knowledge, but I will not be predicting how likely you will get a heart disease. But computers, and with the strong artificial intelligence and machine learning mechanisms, they can. And in this case, you can see now, actually, as a clinician now, I just don't want to treat you with a current problem, but I want also to prevent future problems. And that's where the technology will come. You are changing the way you practice medicine. And I think that's the main difference which I think advocating for. It's not sufficient. It's just, yeah, we have to cope with post-training, postgraduate training for people who have not been trained. But people, why not? We have to start changing the way we do medicine in the first place. And I think if we start now, in 10 years' time, after perhaps a few generations of new trained healthy professionals into using the health technology, perhaps there we can make a leap change into the way we practice medicine. And I think I call it leap because it's no longer sufficient to keep coping with incremental development. We have been going slowly, incrementally improving the way we do health. But disease is faster than us. Challenges are faster than us. The cost of medicine and healthcare is a huge increase. And we are living longer now. We are actually, by prediction, we are actually increasing yearly 6 days longer life. If you look at France, perhaps, at least in the UK, only in the last 20 years, the average age was 75 years. In the UK now, it's 85 years. So if you calculate, actually you are increasing every year in your life by 6 days. So by the time you are actually 70 years old, you will have earned about maybe another 3-4 months of your life extra. But that means more expense on the healthcare system and so forth. So we cannot keep really just following an incremental approach. We have to start causing a leap, a jump in the way we do things so we can cope with the increasing challenges. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Professor. So it is your opinion, and it is IT opinion. So I want to have an opinion from a health professional. So, Dr. Soukaina, je voudrais vous poser une question. Là, on a vu les résultats de ce projet et que vous avez mis des cours en informatique pour la santé. Pensez-vous que cette formation en informatique de la santé couvrirait et suffirait à enseigner toutes les compétences que vous avez pu identifier, ou peut-être encore plus de méthodes sont nécessaires au-delà des enseignements classiques, peut-être normalement par la pratique de la vie réelle en tant que professionnel de santé. Don't worry, I will try to translate.
I'm waiting for the English version.
So, would you, as a health professional, would you think providing health informatics education would cover and be sufficient alone, teaching identified skills? Or maybe still more methods are needed beyond teaching, maybe real-life practice?
I would answer yes for the second part of the question. What we did is great, and at some level it's enough. But picking in Dr. Adil's point that we are moving fast, we have to move fast. And with technology and integrating the health informatics in health practice, there's a lot and a vast amount of knowledge that needs to be I would say concluded. Someone needs to come up with the knowledge that is produced from using the health information systems in health practice. The other thing I would say, we need to also advance the level of education at some point. What we did, again, is great at the level that we are working with for undergraduate students, but also we have to look at after they graduate, after they join the workforce, and after they join the health sector, that we also need to keep training them for research, how to do research with this data, how to come up with the knowledge that come up from all of this data that is available. If we are having more extended life, then we also need to learn how to have that life lived in a quality, in a good quality. So it's enough to a point, but no, we still need to work and we still need to develop it from a health perspective. I think it's not enough. It's good for this point, but we still need to keep developing it. I hope this answered the question.
Yeah, thank you, Professor, for this explication. Now I want, je voudrais, Professeur Rémy, là, on a vu beaucoup de résultats, beaucoup de matériel que vous avez pu développer dans ce projet européen, beaucoup de cours, des cas d'études. Je voudrais savoir, est-ce que d'autres universités, notamment en France ou en Europe, voire dans d'autres pays, peuvent réutiliser vos résultats, et si c'est facile à les réutiliser ou c'est difficile, si vous pouvez nous expliquer. So there is many materials and outcome from this project. Can other universities take your course on the project outcome and use them? Can you explain how easy or difficult that may be to use, please?
Thank you, Dr. Elias. Yeah, obviously, we would be quite pleased that the work that we have performed within the framework of the Hicure project is reused, and since it has been funded by the European Union, I think it's also meant to be reused and as largely as possible. It took a lot of brain power to develop this structure. I showed on competencies, skills, sub-skills, and to decline it into various levels of knowledge. So this is one of the very important assets of the project. Also, the structure of the case studies is also very usable, and we are quite confident that it can be used since it has been already implemented in 4 different universities with success. So one of the means that we plan to allow for wide diffusion of the results is to publish a series of books as a result of Hicure, and I think it would be the best means to ensure that all this work is used as largely as possible.
Thank you, Professor. Merci, Rémi. Je voudrais passer la parole à Professeur Hussein. Donc, dans les statistiques que vous nous avez montrées, notamment à la base de votre évaluation des cours et des cas d'études, vous avez dit que ces résultats sont arrivés à améliorer la performance et la compréhension des élèves pour ceux qui ont pris ces cours-là. Pensez-vous que ceci peut aussi s'étendre à d'autres universités et arriveront à atteindre les mêmes succès? So, you have explained in your presentation that the evaluation of Hicure course and case study that improved student performance and understanding. Do you think this may scale to other universities, and would you achieve, they would achieve the same success?
Yes, of course, and we have already within Hicure projects introduced our work to the Ministry of Education. We met, me and Adil, the Minister of Education. We explained for him our methodology and our project and our outcomes. And also we met with the professor, with Minister of Health, and we also introduced the materials for them, and they were very interested to take this approach and to collaborate with us and to transfer these courses and knowledge and methodologies to other universities in Palestine and Jordan. And actually, this is very innovative and very project and material. As I mentioned, some universities, they do not have any course related to health informatics, and nowadays it is an approach in the Arab world and Jordan, Palestine, to introduce more health informatics courses within the undergraduate curriculum, because of they realize the increasing need for health informatics. So now it is part of the job of the nurse, not only to give medicine, but to document that she gave this medicine electronically. So the students, if they do not be trained on health informatics, they wouldn't find a proper job as the students who is trained within his undergraduate in health informatics. And we offered our students this opportunity, this training, and this is up to them now if they want to take an additional and more specialized master programs in health informatics. Actually, there is now one master program in Palestine, one master program in Jordan, so it's up to them now, the IT and the nursing students, to go and specialize more and be pioneers in this field. But for their coming job, they are qualified and trained well to do their tasks effectively within the current healthcare system, because most of the healthcare systems in Palestine and Jordan, they use the health informatics with systems within their hospitals. So it is part of their duty and responsibility to learn health informatics.
Yes, the professor.
Just adding to Dr. Yes, just 5 words. Adding to Dr. Hussein's point, through the study, the need assessment study, one of the results as well, the students indicated that it would improve their chances of finding a job if they have education in health informatics, or if they have courses in health informatics. So I'm done.
No, thank you, Professor. But je voudrais profiter, là, aujourd'hui, on a quelques étudiants qui ont suivi vos cours, que ce soit en Palestine, que ce soit en Jordanie. Ils sont quelques-uns, ils sont là aujourd'hui. Je voudrais conclure, avant de passer peut-être à quelques questions, je voudrais conclure cette table ronde en donnant à un des étudiants de donner son avis sur ces cours-là. So I want to benefit to this opportunity that we have some students among us to ask them to give us their opinion about this course in health informatics, and for the results. So I will choose one because there is no money, no time. One of you. So you, Zarafa. So please, as a nursing, you are a nursing student. So you will introduce yourself, and if you can tell us your opinion, and if you see health informatique applicable in your real life.
Yeah, I really believe health. Should I say that? Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I really believe like it's a great experience to me as a nursing student that I took the course of the health informatics, so we can like merge between two sciences, different approach, healthcare and IT, in order to improve the patient's healthcare. Improve moreover the diagnosis, treatment, care plan, medication, decrease the error time and cost, and provide more accuracy of the diagnosis. Moreover, I believe it's health informatics. It's becoming a worldwide. It's a revolution by itself with a limitless boundaries, and hopefully it will be integrated in all universities as soon as possible. I really believe like health informatics should be integrated in the curricula of the universities and undergraduate students, so we'll be more competent and have things like known to them when they go to the upward and do their work. So hopefully you will be, if you have your time, tomorrow you can see our session as students between the IT and healthcare. We are gonna introduce new ideas, how it's going to work. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Zarifa. So now, if you have any question, so you can ask. Si vous avez des questions, vous pouvez les poser en français, mais de préférence en anglais. Ça me faciliterait la tâche. Donc, si vous avez une question ou deux, et on va conclure. Est-ce que avez-vous? So, if you have a question for about this round table, don't hesitate, and you are welcome. Okay.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to share in Hicure as a project and to attend this workshop. As a member of the Hicure project, what is our future step after finishing the project?
So, who want to? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes thank you for asking the question. It means you are so excited to keep going on, isn't it? Which is nice. I think, as you probably know, every project has a lifetime to finish because it has clear targets and destination. But you're right. I think your question put another way. Did we complete our job? Did we really finish? Have we just reached an ultimatum and we just done everything? I think that probably your question. And I think obviously no. I think this is the first step. I keep advocating for the fact is, yes, general training into health technologies is obviously a ground foundational training. But I think we need more and more training into more specialized expertise. This is I'll give you an example, a quick example. 30 years ago, the X-ray was the standard mechanism to diagnose fractures, to diagnose a lot of, and then they became later to diagnose maybe even infections. But then they were only giving you that much extension or that much as a mechanism for diagnosis, to help the healthy professionals' diagnosis. But then we moved towards inventing new technologies like MRI to diagnose. And now MRI give us even CT scans, and then MRIs, now they give you even deeper diagnosis. You can even see a lot of inside of the body, and then you can reach more accurate diagnosis. But as you can probably see, the person who has trained to use an X-ray is not sufficiently trained to do an MRI analysis. We needed more specialized training. And I believe as we move towards utilizing digital health technology into the health, We're going to be inventing new techniques and diagnosis where even MRI specialists will need now, and we have shown by evidence, for instance, there are so many image processing techniques that actually are more accurate at spotting cancer tumors into MRI images than humans, because they are not using the eyes, they're using the image themselves. And so that means that we actually keep even more specializing. And these is very different techniques. We use them to, for instance, cardiovascular diagnosis and treatment, and very different for cancer, different type of cancer diagnosis. And so what that means is it's not sufficient just to stop at the foundational training. I believe we need to be developing methods and health technology training towards different branches of medicine, where we started training people toward more specialized diagnosis. And I think that's what we hope we keep going as a team, to be moving towards enabling those technologies and training, not just on a foundational level, but also more specialized level. And the second part is we need to find a way where we make it easier to train. I was extremely interested by the ECO project, which is, if people have seen it, one of the popular platform which is has come to help people even train people on the spot, real-time training. I want to do this. I don't know how to do this. I would like somebody to help me do this. Because technology will not stop. Even if I train you on a foundational level in your graduation, during university training, well, in 5 years it will be new technologies, new changes. So we need to find ways also to enable training on the spot, continuous training. It's just not a one-off training. So we need to find ways to do that, and I hope we, as a team, keep going that way. Thank you very much. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Professor. So I think it's Hicure 2.0. Hein? Okay. Vu le temps, on va prendre éventuellement une question, ou bien there is another question, the last question. Okay, so if you can introduce yourself and...
Hello, good morning everybody. Myself Professor Alok Mishra, and I would like to ask the question and continue with her, that what do you think that the next project proposal should be based for the IT professionals? For example, this one was meant for the undergraduates, but there is a gap, and a strong gap, to train the health professionals who are working in the hospitals. They have some knowledge about the different tools of IT, but not as they should have. So what do you think about the continuation of the another project proposal for in that direction?
Thank you, Professor Alok. Who can give us Mario or?
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Alok, for your question. I think that if we look inside the hospitals, we will see many professionals that some of them, for instance, in my country, as far as I know, they didn't have training or previous education in health informatics. They just, some of them came from the IT field, and the others from health background. So I think that we are reinventing new jobs. This is the answer to your question. And the idea is that we should keep improving this project, and we should go now probably on clinical analytics. This is my opinion. We must analyze the data. We have tons of data, as you know, but probably we do not have so much knowledge, okay? So we need to find new models. We need to teach new models, new techniques to create knowledge above data. This is my opinion.